now. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about...
Yes, we're talking about sex, and that means it's time for parental discretion. So do you remember having the talk with your parents, you know, about the birds and the bees?
We urge you to see it with your children. Birds do it, bees do it. Incredibly beautiful, occasionally shocking, and always the truth.
And the truth is, that's how I learned about sex in the 6th grade. Well, even to this day, it's still awkward for so many parents, you parents, to talk sex with your kids. Most of you just avoid it altogether. So Glamour.com blogger Ben Kasoy wanted to know why it's like this. So he wrote, "Am I old enough to talk to my parents about sex?" Ben joins me out of New York today. Ben, you're 23. You know, why didn't mom and dad talk sex with you?
You know, that's a good question, and I've been trying to figure that out. You know, I'm fortunate to have grown up with 2 very loving and available parents, and we talked about everything, but sex, you know, wasn't one of the things that came up even in adulthood, and I think.
So what did you learn writing this? What did you learn writing the article?
You know, I learned that I think there is an enormous stigma surrounding talking about sex with your parents. You know, when I wrote the article, a lot of the comments were, you know, why would I talk to my parents about sex? It's awkward. It's weird. You know, and I'm not sure why those notions have to exist. You know, growing up, I learned about sex from where most young boys do, you know, from movies, from porn, and from my friends who had the same misguided notions that I did. So I want to explore why, you know, my parents who were loving and open and available, why it never came up.
Drew, you're the love line guy. This is how I've known you, and many of us have known you for years. Why is this so hard to talk about?
This is a huge topic. We could talk about this for an hour, but bottom line is, when he says it's weird, you think about it, because we do functional MRIs of our brain of seeing images of our parents or thinking about our parents in this way. We fire off in the amygdala with a threat response. We actually physically, biologically recoil from it. So we have to overcome that. It's probably our instinct that prevents incest. It's probably in there for a reason. But we have to overcome that. And I will tell you, most experts would say you don't have the talk. Do not have the talk. What you do is continue the conversation. Start at a young age and just with open-ended questions, let the kids know that as these things come to mind, and the other thing is take yourself out of it. It's not about giving them a plumbing lesson. You need them to know a certain thing. It's you need to be available as a resource to answer questions. Always check back with them as they ask the questions. So go, is this enough? Are you done? Do you want to know more? And then stop when they say enough.
Well, Drew, I'm pulling a love line. Ben, I had to get your mom on the phone. Felice, why didn't you want to talk to your son about sex?
Well, it's an interesting question that you asked, because I actually agree with what was just being said. As a school counselor and as a supportive mom, I always look for those teachable moments. And we had quite a few, but apparently not enough to satisfy Ben, so he had to rely on his friends and movies. And I thought
there's a huge lesson here.
Yeah. And now mom's hearing about porn. What's the lesson, Drew?
Well, the lesson, first of all, the lesson is no matter what you do, you fail as a parent. You're just parent. You're just dad. You're just mom. You forget it. You're flawed. You're bad. There's something you did. Nobody's perfect. And two, the other bigger issue here, though, is you got to protect your kids against porn. It's infecting them now, and you need to teach them about what they're looking at.